thank the Rent Guidelines Board for taking the perspectives of property owners into account in a very difficult and trying year for everybody. My name is Alan Zaretsky. I'm a second-generation owner, and both of my adult sons work with me in managing our portfolio of properties located in White Plains and Yonkers. As my father built each of the properties we own and operate, we take great pride in their maintenance and know the vast majority of our approximately 1,000 residential tenants by first name. Our main office is located in Yonkers, in one of the buildings we own, and as such, we are constantly in touch with our residents as well as the conditions of all of our properties. We employ numerous union employees on site and a complete staff of office and maintenance personnel in order to maintain and service our residents and maintain our properties. Our site personnel have done an unbelievable job during the pandemic in providing the additional care and maintenance required due to the extenuating circumstances. As responsible owners, we have provided all of the necessary masks, gloves, cleaning materials, and coverage so that our staff can provide the best safety to our residents as well as assist them when necessary, inclusive of personal shopping, laundry, and other individual needs. Our many long-employed staff do not have to be asked twice to step up to the plate during this crisis. Local 32BJ, the union representing these employees, is requesting additional pay, called essential pay, for this work performed by union employees, which has not been publicized to very much great extent. These additional costs, which are necessary for the safety of all, currently are borne solely by the landlords providing these services. These additional costs, coming on top of the HSTPA legislation, only add salt to the wound of reduced income in an ever-increasing cost market. The cost of fuel, always volatile, has been drastically affected by the requirement to use either number 2 oil, which has been fluctuating recently all over the place with a 20 to 25 cent swing on any given day, which is more expensive than number 4 or 6, or to switch to gas where it's available from Con Edison. In our case, after spending large sums of money switching to the government-preferred gas, again, where available, we are at the mercy of Con Edison, who has a monopoly on the transportation of the gas costs, regardless of where it is purchased. Con Ed has increased the transportation charges by up to 3 times prior costs in the last year and a half. Additionally, the loss of the IMCI increases, the current regulation allowance, is de minimis in nature. It drastically affects long-term owners like us.
3 minutes.
Many long-standing tenants paying well below market rent. When these tenants move out on their own volition, we are often stuck with large expenditures to renovate these apartments with no realistic payback of the capital expenditures, regardless of cost, size of the apartment, conditions of the apartment, damages, etc. The result is families not being able to move into newly renovated apartments, which in most cases under the old law would still be below market rents. Instead, they may find a cheap apartment with old appliances, cabinets, countertops, bathroom fixtures, lights, hardware, etc. This also adds to the decline, especially of older buildings, which require more maintenance and care, as similar changes were made to the MCI improvements as well. Furthermore, the new regulations pertaining to non-payment eviction actions virtually make it impossible to remove non-paying or disruptive tenants from the premises, even before the understandable moratorium currently in effect due to the coronavirus. Additionally, there is no reason for a tenant to respond to mandated renewal notices, despite the legal requirement to do so, as there is no teeth to noncompliance. Currently, we have several cases, which Mr. Finger is aware of, wherein the tenant now claimed that as their lease expired, because they did not respond to the notices, that they are now month-to-month tenants with no increase in rent, and only they can terminate their lease. While it is possible we may eventually prevail in court, at what additional cost? And the reality is that the tenant will just vacate when it suits them, probably because the case could even be decided, forcing some sort of collection action to commence at yet additional costs with no guarantee of collection.
Mr. Zaretsky, I'm sorry, but your time
I have
expired.
three more sentences. okay, if I may. Penalize the bad landlord, we're all for that, and the bad tenant. Anyone with a sense of fairness can see that to treat one group different than another based on what is offered or perceived economics is simply unfair. What has been lost is the fact that landlords and tenants are in this together, and it need not be an adversarial situation. Do not pit us one against the other. Most landlords and tenants are good people who just want to be treated fairly. That is all we are asking, to be treated fairly. Thank you, and stay safe.